Here we have Daniel George Parker, another Civil War veteran of Company G of the 1st Oregon Infantry Regiment. From what I read, during the Civil War, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho were left without protection. Basically, miners were trying to trespass on Indian reservations, so the states needed guards at those locations. In addition, there was the opposite side of the spectrum. Native American raiders were attacking wagon trains. In addition, this was a time when the country was obviously divided with pro-Union and pro-Confederate supporter confrontations. I could only find one true engagement, and that was the Harney Lake Valley with Company H, who was led by Captain Loren L. Williams and his 20 men when it comes to the Civil War soldiers out here. Like I said, they were kind of on guard duty most of the time, but this particular company were walking along and they were ambushed by hostile Native Americans. Williams and his men would retreat and fight for 15 hours apparently, trying to get to a fort. And the Native Americans were persistent. They were firing from random areas in the forest all around them, even setting fire to the escape paths, so they wanted them dead. However, they would eventually reach Camp Wright and only 2 soldiers were wounded. However, another source said that 1 soldier was indeed killed. I couldn't find that exact person. Captain Williams reported that his riflemen killed 15 Native Americans, and the only reason they survived was due to weapon technology. And stumbled another Civil War vet, serving in the 4th California Infantry Regiment. Find a grave is showing that a user mentioned that there never was a 4th Cavalry, so it might be incorrect on the headstone, because you can see down here 4th California Cavalry. Based on my readings, they never saw battle in the East, truly. They were more dedicated to garrison duties in Oregon, California, and Washington territories. I also read that a great number of the Company D soldiers never returned to California and stayed right here in Oregon. It looks like Sumpter here chose Yamhill County as his final destination instead of going back to California with that crew. Here we have Coville Benjamin Jones, who's a Civil War vet. You wouldn't know it by the look, but he was in the 7th Wisconsin Infantry, Company K. That infantry would see some of the more bloody battles in the Civil War, including the Battle of the Wilderness, Gettysburg, and was involved with the surrender of General Lee, actually. But someone must know he's a Civil War vet, because there's a little American flag next to his headstone, so that's cool to see. Hopefully you guys can see that. We're kind of at an angle, and there's a bunch of bushes over here on the side preventing me from getting a good shot. But this would be William Andrew Biddle, served in the 34th Iowa Infantry, Company I, so another Civil War vet. Their engagements involved the Red River campaign mainly. That would include several battles along the Red River of the state of Louisiana. Unfortunately, the campaign was a complete disaster for the Union. If anything, apparently it prolonged the Civil War, and this would be considered a Confederate victory during this time. That, however, would be actually the last major Confederate victory during the Civil War from my readings. Not sure of the validity of this one, but there's supposed to be an individual named R.R. Pendleton buried here, who was a Civil War veteran. He was listed as a captain, so I'm not sure if it referred to him as a captain in the Civil War, or maybe, you know, there was a lot of steamboat drivers out here in Oregon during this time. However, he belonged to the 10th Kentucky Infantry Regiment. Find a grave listing, once again, list him as Captain Pendleton. So what does a Civil War captain do? According to North Carolina Museum of History, a captain had command of a company or of infantry or cavalry, or an artillery battery of guns. In addition to his admin duties, an infantry captain led his company into battle by giving the proper commands for the movement and fighting of his troops in concert with other companies in the regiment. A lot of responsibilities. The 10th Kentucky is listed as a couple engagements, more specifically the Battle of Mill Springs. This will result in the Union victory and the casualty of a Confederate general, not in a literal sense, but more of a career-wise. General Crittenden would be arrested on drunkenness and treason charges. He must have made some bad decisions during the battle or something, but he would be demoted and given his second chance as a commander at Bowling Green. But same old issues, charged with drunkenness, and was booted out at that point, I guess. Kind of down the hill in the weeds, I'm finding Henry Taylor Morris. Actually, my wife did, so I guess I'll credit her. Served in Company B, 1st Oregon Infantry, so another Civil War veteran. Someone on Find a Grave said he transferred to Company E, 1st Oregon Cavalry. Unsure why, but doesn't have that classic Civil War headstone style that we're used to seeing. All right, time for the cemetery tour. It's quite a hike to get up here, up this road. I forget, someone said it was like a quarter of a mile or something. I can't really remember off the top of my head. But there's a gate at the very bottom of the road, and I didn't know if it was locked or not. It wasn't open, but from my understanding, I was told it's open 9 to 4, 9 to 5, I believe the cemetery is open to the public. But it looks like you have to park down there and hike your way up. And like I said, unfortunately, due to that event last year, that vandalism event, we're seeing a lot of damage. But it's like some of them were left alone, fortunately for us. Like I said, I had a tough time finding some of the individuals I wanted to, because the headstones were face down, making it hard to read their name, obviously. We are seeing a lot of symbolism here. We are seeing the cliche weeping willow, which I think is, if I remember right, is an indication of an untimely death, kind of out of the blue. Hence the weeping willow. That one's pretty. It's got the book on there. I'm assuming that's a reference to the Bible. There's a Civil War vet that I missed here, and my wife's on the hunt for him. I think he might be out in Ivy, because the picture on Find a Grave looks like it was kind of in Ivy on the outskirts, and she actually found another headstone out there of a 2-year-old girl just randomly out in the ivy, and there wasn't none around it. It's kind of weird how it was all the way out there by itself. Right here, we talked about Parker, but his wife has that military style headstone, and I tried to look her up because I was like, oh, maybe she was a nurse in the Civil War, but no information on her. But maybe, like, I don't know, they're the wives of Civil War individuals were given that option to have like a Civil War style headstone. I would have liked to know if she was a nurse. But kept coming up empty-handed. Overall, pretty quiet cemetery. Kind of relaxing and nice. Besides the drone flying over, that was a little lame. But seriously, like, who does that? Like, somebody could be visiting their family and someone's flying a drone over. Like, wow, look at that. It's got the gates. I'm assuming that's the gates of heaven. But like I said, maybe they're just get sensitive and hyper about people visiting here, and when you see stuff like this, I kind of get it. Maybe they're just on the guard and on the watch. And we're seeing the handshake. I believe that's a reference to God welcoming you to heaven. Yeah, out over there, like kind of in the bushes over there, that's where my wife found the 2-year-old little girl's headstone, just randomly placed over there on the other side of the road. Coins up there. Pretty neat. We haven't seen anything like this. Young. I think this is meant to be a cross with a dove. 1 year old. really kind of spread out, which is kind of nice because you never know what you're going to find. Bishop. That's in really good shape. There's some more symbolism for you guys. We talked a little bit about what that represents. I want to say Rafty Cemetery. We talked about the meaning of that. And what was it? There was some interpretations of what the G stands for, whether it's God, the ultimate creator, or geometry. I think that's what I came across. It's a pretty one by itself down here. Looks like somebody wrote on it. I don't know what that says. Let's check the other side. Oh, much better. Another beat up down here. Can't tell what that one. That one's really weathered. But the real reason we came over here is because my wife pointed out that I'm the individual I was looking for. So I'm going to stop the video real quick and talk about Taylor Morris here. I think it's Morris. Yeah. Okay, continuing on. Come on, you got a really nice view of the valley here. And what that was, we saw that somewhere else. Got that 3-leaf flower with, it kind of looked like a bellflower almost. These two down here, looks like Huston. And we talked about Corker. Met an unfortunate end. For all the paranormal fans out there, sorry to report no encounters. I find it pretty peaceful. I don't know, I have no uneasy feelings, no dark presence or anything. I don't know, it seems kind of like the other cemeteries I visit, just kind of quiet overall. Pretty peaceful in my opinion. Oh cool, what's that? I can't tell, maybe it's, man, those birds are angry. I think it's a dove. Man, I can't really make it out. Maybe that's what the birds are saying. It's a dove dummy. A lot of fighting going on there between some birds. So yeah, here's an example. It sucks, you know, they're most likely the lettering's on the other side, so that's what made it a challenge. Way down there is a Civil War vet we talked about. You can see the American flag. That's pretty cool to see. People still honoring them. This is where all the birds are fighting. Hopefully they won't swoop down on me. Maybe they're angry about that drone that flew over earlier. I would be if I was a bird. Another handshake. Pretty iconic. Some epitaphs on there and such. I was trying to read that under there. I'll have to look at it later. I think it says something, but gone. I don't know. I can't really read it from here, unfortunately. Maybe it showed up on the camera. This one way down here by itself. Oh man, this one got wrecked, unfortunately. But see if we can at least get a name. William Wilbert Lavis and his wife Eliza J. Martin. I was kind of looking for an anchor point to see what they anchored it with. Sometimes I see like a little bolt there, kind of like a stud. Maybe it's when they concrete it on, maybe it just holds it in place, that one bolt. I'm not sure. This is where the Harringtons were and all that. Something running down there. Must be a bird or a squirrel. I think I saw a few acorn trees around here. Maybe I interrupted it as a acorn eating extravaganza. Make one. America first, America only, America always. Company. Oh. Looks like he was U.S. Engineers. 1918, I believe, is around the year of World War I. So I wonder if he died in the war. Yeah, he's kind of young, huh? Born in 1890, died in 1918. And this behemoth, who does this belong to? Eliza and Henry. Oh, Henry's the last name. See, we're about halfway done, maybe 3/4 done. Kinney. I remember seeing that name, but there wasn't much information on him. Oh man, that sucks. Looks like during that vandalism it got rolled off its base. I don't want to roll it. I don't want to touch anything without approval. But let's go check out here. It's kind of a cemetery middle route. That's kind of a unique headstone. I don't know if we've seen that style yet. Wow, look at the detail on this guy. Got a rose there, and what do they call that? Fleur de lis. Could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. And they have like a wreath on the back. What we got over here? Another unique, elaborate one. The dove on it. This one looks like it belonged to a prominent person. And there's, oh, you know who this is? This was Sumpter Carr. So he had his Civil War headstone But that was the main one with his wife on it, I think, with him, if I remember right. But that would be the only reason I would know that Sumpter Carr was the military headstone. So at least the Civil War headstone survived. Olds was another popular last name, but things here and there about him. Nothing really stuck out, I guess. Not to make that sound like a bad thing, but I try to keep my videos as short as I can, so apologies if this is a long one. And oh yeah, Woodman of the World. So we have a Woodman of the World headstone here. And we talked about that at Hill Cemetery if you'd like to know more about them. So this cemetery does have it all. A lot of history. I can see that one crack there. It looks like they actually put it back on at one point. And then there's the iconic one with the two little girls buried. It's a unique one. And I didn't notice before, but they got sort of a molded handshake there. I remember that we talked about the meaning behind that, but I didn't notice that before. A lot of art went into this. Whoever made it back then. Here's another 1918 death. Makes you wonder if that's World War I. The classic lamb, which usually indicates a child's death. Yeah, pretty young. Yeah, 2 or 3 years old. Anyways, this was a good one. This had a lot of history, and I hope I did a good job presenting it. It was a little hot, so I was kind of struggling at some point to talk because I was just like sweating so much. But my wife is staring at me, so I believe it might be time to go. Today is her birthday, so I was like, hey, I want to go visit one of Oregon's allegedly haunted cemeteries. I think they said it was second in the state as most haunted. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other recommendations for cemeteries to visit in Oregon or even southern Washington, feel free to comment below. Have a good one, stay safe, and this was a good one. Hope you enjoyed it.